Chapter 13. What Now? Hey, you did it! You unleashed the 7 life hacks. Let's see how you're doing. When we started this venture, you were feeling miserable and perhaps contemplating whether to kill yourself. How are you feeling now? Are you still an enslaved, beaten loser? Or are you feeling unfuckwithable? Or somewhere in between? Have you become a different person, as I predicted on the opening pages of this book? Let's take 2 minutes for a quick review of the 7 and evaluate where you stand. See how many of these questions you can honestly answer in a positive way. Quick review. Hack 1, the microslash. Can you immediately identify each thought that stimulates a shitty feeling in you? Hack 2, bitch slapping. Did you embrace the metaphor of the beast who assaults you with shitty thoughts and devours your precious life force? Are you bitch slapping the beast with grim determination and/or unbridled enthusiasm? Hack 3, diversion. Did you try a few activities to reduce your daily daydreaming, especially during prime microslash times? Are your diversions reducing your microslashes by 50% or more? Hack 4, feeling good-ish. Do you occasionally have the energy and willpower to insert a few thoughts of your own making into the show running in your head? Are you generating a little thankfulness, blessings, or intent of your own invention and doing your 15-second TBI routine from time to time? Hack 5. You do you. Are you asking and answering the question repeatedly, so you truly can be the boss of you? Are you employing the dodge, smackback, and broken record techniques to deal with shit-slingers in your midst? Are you using controlled folly, amusement, empathy, and/or admiration to maintain a sense of connection with your fellow humans? Have you felt unfuckwithable? Hack 6, the daily grind. Did you evaluate your daily maintenance issues from the thumbs up, thumbs down perspective? Have you succeeded at bartering, outsourcing, and reframing as many of your thumbs down activities as possible? Most importantly, are you freeing up a little time each day for fun? Hack 7, Chief Body Officer. Have you embraced your role as CBO of your massive organization? Are you giving your body the resources you know it needs versus what you trained it to crave? If you answered yes to even half of these questions, I'm proud of you. You must be at least halfway to feeling unfuckwithable, right? If you did not score so well, at least you can quickly sense which hacks you should review and work on more. We're now ready to check on your emotional set point. Review the exercise you did at the beginning of this book to establish exactly how miserable you were. In the box on page 44 of your PDF workbook, take a shot at estimating your emotional set point range as you mastered each of the 7 life hacks. Which hack has done you the most good? If you'd like, take a screenshot of your progress and email it to me with your story at the7lifehacks@gmail.com. I'd love to see it. What now? What now depends on where your life force and emotional set points are presently. If the 7 has completely changed your life for the better and you are living with more gusto than a 5-year-old at Disneyland, then my work here is done, and you can get on with your life as you see fit. Perhaps you look over this book and think, geez, this guy's worldview is awfully negative. With his beast, mayhem with the misfits, shit-slingers, circus monkeys, and daily grind. Why couldn't he present a more upbeat perspective? If so, your emotional set point is much closer to neutral, and you are seeing life in a more optimistic vein. I'm glad. On the other hand, if the 7 gave you no relief, you might start by returning the book for a refund. In this case, you're still consumed by thoughts of killing yourself. So let's tackle that issue head on. Still want to whack yourself? For the record, I disagree with the stringent taboo against suicide in most cultures. Oddly, our societies outright forbid you to murder yourself abruptly by gun, hanging, ledge diving, or stepping in front of a speeding bus, yet they actively encourage behaviors guaranteed to kill you slowly, such as excessive smoking, drinking, eating, or pill popping. If you are hell-bent on killing yourself, the speed at which you undertake it should be immaterial. In fact, the quicker method should be endorsed enthusiastically, because they'd save society a bundle of money in wasted healthcare expenditures on people indulging their death wishes. In any event, I do not think folks should be forced to inhabit bodies against their wills, any more than they should be forced to eat their vegetables, watch daytime TV, pierce their noses, marry their second cousins, or dance the polka. This perspective is especially pertinent for people who suffer from chronic pain or debilitating terminal illnesses. It's irrational to the point of insanity for a society to insist, "I know you're suffering intolerable pain, but just tough it out until the Lord calls for you, and you've slowly wasted away to nothing." Wait, isn't that cruel and unusual punishment? Well, in the meantime, we can dial up your morphine drip until you're comatose so you won't suffer. Crazy talk. The tricky part. The tricky part, of course, is who exactly goes where exactly if you exercise your exit option. We already accepted we have no idea where our thoughts come from and no clue why we are here. Now we can add a third mystery. What happens when we die? I see three general possibilities. Number one, your lights go out permanently. Number two, you wake up essentially in the same place, as it was all a dream anyway. Number three, you wind up somewhere else or in a different form, which might be better or worse. So you have about a 50-50 chance of getting some relief, assuming the annihilation of your consciousness qualifies as relief. A popular assertion in metaphysical circles describes a lengthy after-death review of the life just passed, wherein the recently deceased soul, you, relives over and over difficult events until the appropriate lessons are learned, much like Bill Murray's experience in the classic 1993 movie Groundhog Day. Does that sound like a big improvement over your current situation? In the grand scheme of things, it may be irrelevant whether your consciousness is here or there, because wherever you go, there you are. If you wake up dead and realize you brought your beast with you, the next locale will probably be no better than this one, and it could be worse. You might as well make your stand against the beast here, on the ground you know. You can win this battle here. You can head into the next realm feeling unfuckwithable, not whipped. That's why I wrote this book for you, my friend, so you could exit ultimately with great personal power. If the 7 life hacks failed to help you, perhaps you read this book too quickly, without stopping where advised to practice each hack in sequence before moving on to subsequent hacks. If so, there's still hope. Please review the list of questions above and see where you must refocus to unleash the 7. Most likely, your beast is still devouring your life force, and it must be throttled. Shitty thoughts of self-pity, self-loathing, and suicide are being served up by the beast, and must not be tolerated. Every time the beast insists you'd be better off dead, tell it to fuck off and die. Then get on with your life. If you are still feeling suicidal, I urge you to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 right now. Closer to neutral. Okay, maybe you're not at Disneyland, but you have decided to hang around with us in the foam pit. Hopefully, the 7 has delivered palpable relief, and your emotional set point is at least closer to neutral, as I promised. You're not exactly happy, but you're no longer miserable. And that's pretty terrific. And you did it without processing any issues. If so, what now? Should you just consolidate your gains by continuing to practice the 7 life hacks? Or should you expand your skills by investigating new alternatives, of which there are many? In essence, you're asking yourself the question about your current emotional set point. You now have sufficient life force running through you to support attempts at mindfulness and/or some form of cognitive therapy. Your efforts could boost your emotional set point safely into positive territory. There is little, if any, downside. I will list a few interesting and potentially useful books on these topics in the bibliography. Perhaps you also want to connect more with the activities of life and with other people. You've pulled the metaphorical covers off your head and jumped out of bed, and you're eager to embrace the folly of your fellow man. A highly encouraging sign your depression and anxiety is dissipating. With whom or what will you connect? Whether you join your local Freemason lodge, sign up for the PTA bowling league, join a hip-hop dance team, or chant along with your town's Hare Krishnas, I encourage you to be sure your life force is enhanced by your participation. You might even be ready to consider community service. If so, search online for volunteer opportunities for your local city, or try volunteermatch.org, helpvolunteer.app, catchafire.org, or thedeed.app to match your interests and skills with an ideal opportunity. You'll be glad you did. To quote author John Holmes, "There is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up." At a minimum, consider signing up for a class or two on topics that interest you at your local community center or college. My simple suggestion is to gradually increase your participation in organized activities that spark your interest and boost your flow of life force. After all, an idle mind is the beast's workshop. What's love got to do with it? Perhaps you wonder how we've gotten this far without talking about love. Isn't manifesting love for ourselves, others, and our God the true purpose of life? How can one banish depression without love? As Oliver Wendell Holmes reportedly said, love is the master key that opens the gates of happiness. I omitted love for 3 reasons. First, love resides on the opposite end of the emotional scale from depression. It's right up there at the very top, next to joy. I did not talk about joy either because it's impossible to leap sustainably from one end of the emotional scale to the other. Instead, we first strove to shift your emotional state from depression to anger, which is a more attainable step in the right direction. It's a small, big step. Second, as you know from experience, you cannot generate loving feelings when the beast is bombarding you with shitty thoughts. If I asked you to originate loving thoughts, and you failed miserably, you'd feel even worse, right? All I dared ask was for you to find a wisp of appreciation in those brief moments of silence won by your incessant bitch-slapping. Third, the whole love thing is well beyond my pay grade. I don't know how to achieve it on demand, let alone advise you about it. Our culture confuses love with feelings of attraction and need, both of which can lead to disappointment and broken hearts. Unconditional love is not possessive and asks for nothing in return. Enduring unconditional love is a state of being achieved after lifetimes of learning. It's certainly not a fast-acting antidote to depression and anxiety. However, your emotional set point is now closer to neutral, so you might want to explore the topic of love. Countless books and workshops can advise you. You can tackle the topic directly with the first book in the Earth Life series by Sanaya Roman, Living with Joy, Keys to Personal Power and Spiritual Transformation. Happy trails. To each of you who has journeyed this far with me, I extend to you my heartfelt admiration and appreciation. I considered myself quixotic and even idiotic for writing a book for people who were too depressed even to begin it, let alone finish it. Yet, here we are. I sincerely hope the 7 continues to help you to beat back the beast and withstand the mayhem of the misfits while finding a measure of fun in your daily life. You are the unfuckwithable boss of you. May your life force dazzle and your set point surge.